Hey peeps, welcome back to Watch Me AI, the quick podcast-like show where we see how smart people are getting dumber with the help of AI. No, the quick podcast show when we see how smart people, IT professionals, marketers, data peeps are actually using AI in their real work and day-to-day life. So less theory, more practice, screen on, and yeah, let's see what the people are doing. Today we are joined by Lukas Vozda. Lukas Vozda is my friend and data lead at Invity, part of SatoshiLabs group. And for some of you who's been following me on X and LinkedIn, you might have seen that we already did some AI and vibe coded projects with Lukas in the past when the wave of vibe coding was only started. So they weren't pretty successful, but it was super fun to play with them. So we built the Bitcoin price calculator with different strategies, Bitcoin investments calculator, and the website that shows the Bitcoin corporate holdings. So by public, private companies, and by governments, how much Bitcoin do they hold. No success, no big traffic, and so on, but was super fun. So, yeah, Lucas, happy to have you here. And for people hearing your name for the first time, just briefly describe who you are, what do you do at Invity, and overall.
Yeah, thanks, Bohdan. Thanks for inviting me to this show. I'm happy that you started the podcast because I think it's nice to see some human-like interactions on the internet because maybe in the future it will be just agents talking to agents, and yeah, it's good that you started with this show. So to introduce me, I'm Lukas and I'm doing everything around data. I started my career in data almost 11 years ago, so it's quite a time already. And I started in a marketing company. And last couple of years, I worked for the fintech startup called Invity, where we meet each other. And I'm basically responsible about everything related to data in this company. So everything around data engineering, data processing, data transformations, and reporting, and data analytics as well. So yeah, since I'm the only one in this company responsible for data, it's a lot of responsibilities, but AI helps me a lot to handle this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear in this podcast. So, what's your general take on AI? And for you personally, when did AI move from interesting thing to play with to some useful thing that can replace some processes for you?
I think it was like a continuous development. It's very hard for me to put some line in the timeline and say like this day was the game changer for me. But as far as I remember, I started experimenting with ChatGPT somewhere around 2023. I double checked the date. It's already 3 years ago, and it's crazy how how fast the time flies. But yeah, I started experimenting with it in 2023, but it was mainly for like little things like, hey, maybe I have this little Python code, there is a mistake. I don't have time to search for it. Can you maybe look for it and fix it? So this was back then already possible even with the ChatGPT 3 model, I think. And like simple tasks like that were already achievable back then. But it was only like the party was getting started, I think, in 2024 and especially in 2025. I completely switched to AI, I would say, and now I do everything together with AI because it's already so good in most of the things that I don't even try to like compete with it, for example, in writing Python code or SQL because it's already so good for me. So yeah, I'm using AI every day and I do a lot of things with AI. We can maybe later see some examples, but
Yeah.
definitely it transformed the data industry a lot, and I think it will transform it even more in the future as things are better in data analytics, analyzing data, and so on, which is basically why we do data. You know, you want to get some insights and learn from it something, and this hasn't been as good before, but it's getting better, and it will be even better, I think.
Indeed, indeed. I agree with that. For data, I'm not the big data guy, but actually AI has helped to simplify for me the data analytics stuff and so on. So now at least some simple scripts, Python scripts can be written by AI and utilized by me. So I'm happy for that. But as a data lead, what is your go-to tool stack when working with AI tools? What do you use day to day?
I would like to say that it changes because the frontier AI labs are competing between each other, and they like every month there is some better model, better than the previous one, and so on. So it changes a lot, but I would say that I use a lot of Gemini because it's well integrated in Google Cloud, and Google Cloud is my favorite data stack basically. So as Gemini is well integrated there, it's very easy for me actually to just use it inside of the platform, and it like knows the context of my data warehouse and everything. So we have something called semantic data model, which essentially means that all of the tables are described in natural language, or all of the fields are described. And then it's easy for Gemini or some other model to look at the data model and understand it. And that's like giving me superpowers, I would say, when I really need to like quickly get some data, put them together and analyze them.
Got you. So maybe let's move to the practical side of this podcast. Just for everyone to repeat, I will be repeating this every episode, that the idea of this podcast is to see how people actually use AI on their screens for their real tasks. And Lukas, can we watch you AI right now? And can you briefly describe what are we going to see?
Let's go. So I had one example that I started working on about 2 weeks ago, and I already did some initial development. So I have something to present, and we can then try to add some little feature to it or something, so we can see the process. So basically, our Invity app was a little bit behind of our competitors in terms of portfolio reporting. So I decided to look at it and come up with an idea how we could maybe improve it and maybe give the user chance to create its own portfolio reporting in the mobile app, so the user can see a personalized way the performance of its portfolio, how much Bitcoin he bought, and what's the return of investment, and so on. Okay, so I started the process with Claude interface in the website initially because I wanted to quickly like crystallize the idea, what is possible, what is not possible. And since I've never done the mobile app development before, I basically asked Claude to guide me through the process, to maybe suggest some frameworks or technologies that we should use to make it happen. So we did it kind of together, and then we agreed on the final stack. We're gonna use React Native because that's what our Invite app is built on. It suggested some charts library, so we can render the charts in the app, and yeah, we decided how we gonna call the Claude API and what kind of storage we will use. And then basically I asked Claude to generate the final prompt for me that is kind of structured and everything is like easy to understand. And I took this prompt and I basically copy pasted to Claude Code interface on my computer. So this is the workflow. So basically, this is the initial interface. We have some basic chart here that is created by default, so the user can see at least something if the user doesn't want to customize it, for example. So we can now ask the agent that is behind it to create some additional charts to our portfolio. So I can, for example, say a pie chart with portfolio value per strategy, and it's gonna take a few moments, but we should see some charts soon. So yeah, so we have the pie charts with our strategies that I have been running in the app.
And
Yeah,
can,
we can
can
do
we
like
can we
another.
compare the strategies, like which performed better? I don't know, maybe in terms of the average Bitcoin buying price.
Yeah, let's say we want to compare the performance like over time. So
Hmm.
I want to see perf of my strategies over time, and we should see like the performance of how it evolved historically. Let's see.
Yeah, but looks crazy that not only you can chat with the data, but you kind of made it possible for
Yeah, we
users
have
to
an
chat with the
error.
data. Okay.
Um Let me try more time because this is the first time I actually see any error, and I did several testing examples before.
Mhm.
So it's interesting. AI is better and better. You will run into some bugs and some issues, so you need to be able to solve them. But actually, it almost feels like there is something wrong with my token. So let me just ask Claude to solve this problem. I watched one of your previous video when don't remember the name of the guy, but he was already showcasing Claude Code interface. So I think this is not new to your listeners, but
But
it's
still,
pretty
the use
powerful.
case is new. Like you have the prototype of the mobile app and AI agent inside the mobile app. How did you learn how to Claude Code, how to communicate with them? Is there some resources you could recommend, or just try and see it's doing the job?
Not really. I like to experiment with the things on my own. So I kind of installed it and I started hustling with it. Yeah, I learned on my own, but this is kind of simple. There are definitely things that you can improve if you work on a more complex projects. There are some best practices and so on. But since this is a very like simple example, it's completely okay in my opinion to just jump into it and start using it. So it seems like it has fixed the issue. So let me refresh. Yeah, here we go. So
Yay! Wow.
so now we can see the chart and the portfolio over time. It's interesting because I generated this kind of chart like 10 times before. I don't know how this happened. So I just wanted to say that you need to be always careful with the AI generated concepts because even if it looks at first point like it's completely perfect and functional, there can be some bugs and you need to like watch over them. I think both me and you, we went through this phase already that we were like, wow, this is so amazing, it can do anything, we can build everything. And then we just realized that okay, actually we need to work a little bit more on it and improve it before we put it into production.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we can ask it to add some more functionality to see how it works and what will change. I
So yeah,
know if
so
you
let's
have
go.
some features in mind.
Yeah. So let's go. So what I can show that here in Claude Code you have like different modes. You can say to do edits automatically, or you can turn on the plan mode, which means that it's not gonna edit anything, and you can just like brainstorm before you put together the idea. So I was thinking about the feature that maybe it would be nice to reorder the charts in the interface easily. So we can either have some drag and drop or buttons here that will allow the user to reorder the chart.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I don't have an idea like what kind of technology we should use for it. If drag and drop is better than buttons, I think both can be functional, and I will just say to Claude and let him decide like what is better in this specific situation.
Hmm.
Could I can imagine some drag and drop, or what do you suggest? So
And once it's figured in, I wanted to ask you, this is pretty interesting to see that even for the customer side, you are already thinking like how the customers will interact the data. Yeah, so for your side, I can imagine that you prompt and talk with the data a lot. Yeah, and it's kind of got the popularity spike in the recent, I don't know, half year. Yeah, so when every data platform released their MCPs to connect with Cloud or other platforms, so you basically can chat with your data and understand.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that we can already see the trend that people are giving access to different resources about their work or their personal life, like for some spreadsheets and so on. So people already like chatting about everything with AI, and I think this trend will continue. And I believe that one day everyone will have its own, like maybe even locally hosted agent that will be private, that will be only like available for you and always ready to give you answers. And so yeah, so we can come back to our project. The Claude finished the thinking process, and I have some, let's say, documentation what he or it recommends to me. So it says that we should maybe use up and down buttons because there are no dependencies, that will be maybe a little bit simpler and less heavy for us to include it in the project. And it suggests some like icons that will be inserted in the UI and allow the user to reorder. And yeah,
Sounds
I don't
nice.
want to waste time right now. I just want to have it as quickly as possible and auto accept everything.
Okay, let's see.
So let me confirm another bash command. So the Claude Code is now able to edit all of the files, and he is doing it. But since sometimes it needs to run some command in the terminal and it asks Q for permission, which is kind of nice, so it doesn't go completely crazy. And it seems like it finished the job. So let me see. I can already see the buttons here. So let me check if it works. So let's click on this one. And yeah, it seems like it works. It's just not allowed to use for the default chart over here. So this is something that could be improved, I think, because this chart is just hard-coded on the screen for everybody. But this that I auto-generated before, this can be reordered.
Yeah, room for improvement, but from what you asked, looks clean and it works. So that's that's the desired outcome.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, do you have something else for us today? When I contact you to shoot this show, you mentioned and showed me some messages from your agent, Vincent. Yeah, is it called or so?
Yeah, so now we move from the useful stuff to the crazy stuff. Let's go. I built this Slack AI bot that I called Vincent based on the Pulp Fiction character. And basically, I give it access to our data warehouse. So it knows what kind of data models we have there, what kind of data we have there, and it can run some simple analysis for people on our Slack channel, and people from our company can ask question, and they get the data answers with some funny Pulp Fiction jargon. So I just present some little sample here. I cannot share like the company sensitive data, but this is one of the example that I asked Vincent yesterday, and to ask like how many Lamborghinis we can buy for February's revenue, and it built this funny reply. And I just hidden the sensitive details, but you can already get the taste of it. I think it's quite funny, like if you have time to read it, like, are you really gonna dump that hard and fired on depreciating battle, or are you gonna act like a proper DJ, stack those sets, and wait for the real moon mission? I think it's like
Yeah,
hilarious. I'm laughing at it like every day at these messages.
your call, boss. If you need me, I'll be over here watching the charts. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and another thing it does, it's kind of proactive as well. So every day it checks some of our company KPIs, like how many users we got, how many transactions, and so on. And if it finds that we like broke the record or reached the all-time high in some metrics, it will send a message to everybody on Slack and cheer up the team that we had some success in the company and so on. So it's kind of like supporting the growth mindset of our startup company.
the stack behind Vincent. Like, how did you build it and how did you integrate it to Slack?
Yeah, basically Vincent is built on top of Gemini, and I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation that Gemini is very well integrated into Google Cloud, where we host our data warehouse in the BigQuery database. And yeah, since it's well integrated, I only needed to write a small API in Python that is like receiving messages from Slack and transferring these messages into Gemini, and Gemini basically takes care of everything. It calls the database, it gets the data, and it builds this funny response that is then returned to the Slack channel. So it's a very lightweight, it's very elegant, I would say, and that is
Nice.
so much fun.
Yeah, I will try to build it or to replicate it. Do you have the prompt for tone of voice? Maybe we can share it because I absolutely in love with it. Maybe we can share it in the description or somewhere
Yeah,
with everyone listening.
yeah, definitely. I don't have it opened right now, but
Okay, okay.
we can share it. We can share it later. I have no problem.
So Vincent prompt will be available.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
sure.
That's actually looks both fun, useful, and kind of unique. Yeah, I would say so. Cool use case. Okay, another one that you mentioned, I don't know if you ready to show it or not, but that was something about going beyond the Claude Code or Gemini capabilities.
Yes, yes, that's right. This is a very deep rabbit hole actually, but I started experimenting with OpenClaw and right now NanoClaw, which is like alternative to OpenClaw that is like a little bit more secure because it comes with Docker container, so it runs in its own sandbox by default, and it's a little bit more lightweight, so it's not like as heavy technology. You can run it on some old laptop or whatever, but I run it on my Mac Mini because it's always on my table, it's always on, it's connected to the network,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just convenient for me to run it there. And yeah, I'm just to be honest, I just started experimented with it about 1 week ago, so I'm not like I'm still a tourist basically. But I already have some examples running. For example, I have this wish list where I have some like items that I would like to buy. I don't need to buy them today, but maybe I can wait for a couple of weeks for a price drop. So I have this spreadsheet with the
Okay.
items that I want to buy, and I have the target price for which I am willing to buy the item, the product. And basically, Vincent, which is like my AI agent that runs on top of NanoClaw, I call all of my agents Vincent. I just love the name. So my Vincent basically on my computer triggers the job every day, and it searches for the products on the internet, tries to find a better price. If it finds it, it sends a WhatsApp message to me directly that hey, I found a message, I found a better price on this e-shop. Here's the link, you can buy it. I think
Wow.
I could even let the agent to buy to make the order, but I haven't made it that far yet. So it basically just notifies me and I can make the purchase myself.
Yeah, give it the seed phrase from all your wallet, so let it buy.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
looks nice. But how much does it cost you?
Yeah, basically that's a good question. I'm paying for Claude the pro license, the basic one that's about 15 or 20 euros per month, something like
Mhm.
this. And like it consumes like 10% of my daily usage, so it's hard to say. So like if I quantify it, it can be like 10% out of 20 euros, it's 2 euros per month of
Mhm.
consumption. That's, I think that's completely okay.
Yeah, that's better than I expected to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Lucas, for showing us how you AI really unique and interesting use cases. I think I like them personally. I hope everyone will like them as well. So hit the like button for Lucas if you like the use cases. And yeah, let's try to wrap up this episode. I have a couple of few last questions. And the first one, when AI will replace you?
Honestly, I think it already sort of replaced me because that Lukas that was working on stuff 3 years ago, like dealing with issues like I have data from this data source and I have data from this data source and I need to put them together somehow. this is already solved problem for me. And this Lucas that was like spending time on this 3 years ago every day is already dead. So so I would say it replaced me sort of, but there is now a new Lucas that is like amplified with this workforce that I can use, and it allows me to do much more cooler stuff that I couldn't even imagine 3 years ago. So I'm basically very grateful for AI, and I'm very bullish for the future, because some people are, maybe a little bit negative that they lose their jobs and so on, and it will replace them. But I think it's good that we move forward and spend some time on something more useful, and we progress into new areas, and there will be new projects more interesting and more useful and so on. So I'm actually very optimistic about this.
Yeah, I kind of stay on the same wave with you. I'm not thinking about the negative effect of the AI. I'm trying to understand how to keep up with AI and make the most use of it for me. I love when something simplifies your life and you can focus on your ideas, or you can just like review, yeah, because you have, for example, in data you have some proficiency, so you can make the decisions on your own or decide whether it's good or not, but it's not you who should always prepare that. It can be, yeah, AI agents and so on. So I kind of even like this one. So it's, you have the final word and the direction, and the AI agents, and overall AI is the executor.
Yeah, exactly. And nice thing about AI, which I noticed compared to, for example, working with people, because in the previous company I've had quite a big team. I think it was about 15 people in the end. And when you ask people to do something, sometimes they don't understand you because maybe you don't express yourself very well, and they do something a little bit different that you wanted. But with AI, the precision of what it actually gives you, it's so good. I would say like 9 out of 10, I get exactly what I want. So I think it's so cool that AI can understand you very well, and I think it's actually even better when talking to people.
Okay, interesting take. Uh, Thank you, Lucas, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This was Watch Me AI, the third episode. And if you are watching this and thinking, I kind of do cool stuff with AI and I can show something more useful or more funnier than Vincent Agent by Lucas, DM me. Let's record the episode. Yeah, that was it for today. I will link Lucas' LinkedIn and X account so you can follow him up and see what he's doing. Thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Have a nice day, everyone.